God doesn't consult your past to determine your future. There's nothing you could have done to ever make God not desire your love, not desire you to be with him. There's nothing. There's no bondage. Welcome back to the Neighborhood Podcast. I am your neighbor Mila, and I'm so glad to have you all back here with me today. This is the final episode of season 1 of the Neighborhood Podcast. When we checked in last, it was right before the holidays, and I was reminding you all how important it is to trust God. That is what I was focusing on in that chapter season of my life right before the holidays. There were things out of my control, as most things in our lives are to some capacity. And I had to trust God. That's what I told y'all to do. That's what I did. And when I did, he did it better than I could have ever imagined. I rested. And God took care of everything that I needed him to take care of. So I'm coming to y'all today with such a grateful heart. That's probably why it's taken me so long to get back here and share this final message of the season with you all. But I am always going to do my best to be as transparent and real with y'all. That's just one of the things that the neighborhood is all about. So let's do a quick walkthrough of season 1. In episode 1, I made it clear that we're not supposed to do this thing alone. We're better in community. We're better together. Episode 1 was also me sharing with y'all my pet peeve of people trying to keep people out the kingdom. It's like, why are y'all trying to gatekeep God? Cut it out. I'm going to always stand on that because it's weird, and we don't do that in the neighborhood because everyone's welcome, same way everyone's welcome in the kingdom. In episode 2, my most prized possession, I shared with y'all how joy was my most prized possession. And I connected it to how my joy is so deeply connected to my faith. I have this, unspeakable joy, if you will, at most times because I walk with God. And because I walk with God, I know that everything that's outside of my circle of control going to be controlled by him. So my job is to do my best, keeping an expectant heart and mind at all times. Even though that's hard, I've shared that too. I'm always transparent with y'all about how it's not easy, but it's fulfilling and it's rewarding and it's worth it. Episode 3 was, where do I start? I created this episode for every person I've ever connected with throughout life that has had this desire of wanting to get to know God, but not knowing where to start. I gave really basic, simple steps on where you can get started on your faith journey, where you can go, what you can do, really making it approachable for everyone. Not all of us grew up in the church. Some of us grew up in the pews, was on the praise dance team. We was in the youth choir. We did Awana. Shout out to Awana. And that's not everyone's experience, and that's okay. That's okay. So episode 3, where do I start, was strictly about giving folks a sounding board. Even if maybe you did go to church your whole life, maybe you did grow up in the church, but you've, taken a step back from it. In episode 3 of Where Do I Start, I really lay out the basics on where to get started, reconnecting with the Lord and practicing your faith walk. In my most recent episode I put out, Do You Trust God? As I shared early in this episode, it was all about how do you keep your faith when things don't look how you want them to look? What do you do when the things you felt like you deserved didn't work out how you wanted it to work out? What do you do? How do you handle that? Do you trust God? Do you believe that the way he takes care of something as beautiful as the mountains and the trees, that he'll take care of you? Episode 4, Do You Trust God? Was really pushing y'all to lock in with your faith when times are hard and frustrating. And in this final episode of season 1, in case no one has told you, I'm here to let you know, there is no bondage. There is no bondage. When you start fresh with God, when you surrender and decide, Lord, let's lock in, all that's wiped clean. It's all irrelevant. None of those things matter anymore. I feel like so many people don't want people to know that when you choose to walk with God, you don't have to worry about any of the things that may have held you back in the past. I think that, as I shared earlier, people love to gatekeep God, and part of people gatekeeping God is people trying to make folks feel like they are not good enough, or because of things they've done in their past that disqualifies them from being a part of God's neighborhood and kingdom. And that's a lie. That's not true. There's literally nothing. There's nothing you could have done that you could do to ever make God not desire your love, not desire you to be with him. There's nothing. Scratch whatever you've been told in the past. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, "The old has gone, the new is here." That's our lives, our past, everything wiped clean when we start fresh with God. The reality is, none of us are perfect. All of us have something we're not proud of that we've done, said, or a situation we've been a part of. We all have something that we feel has lowered our value in some capacity. And that's just how we're taught. We live in a misogynistic, capitalistic world. So it's natural that we are consistently taught to feel so much shame around things. Like we're all not human and figuring this thing out together. Like Jesus wasn't human and figuring it out together. Like, what are we even talking about? To me, walking with God has really helped me lift so much shame. And shame, in my opinion, is the worst feeling to have. Oh my goodness. Shame just be feeling so heavy. I can think of times where I've like disappointed my parents or done something that, they advised me not to do, and then feeling like so much shame, allowing it to eat me up, knowing that they were looking at me differently, or shame in a friendship or a relationship or whatever. But here's the thing about God. God doesn't want us to feel shame. God does not want us to walk around and feel unworthy. That's not what he wants. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did Jesus not hang out with the people that everybody said not to hang out with? Did Jesus not flip tables and act out in public and do things that were seen as frowned upon? When you decide to walk with God, you're meeting him with a fresh start. The old rumors, the things that were said, the things that you said to yourself about yourself, all of that is gone. It no longer exists. It's a clean, fresh slate. How amazing is that? How amazing is it to start a new relationship with someone and they don't care about what's happened before? Your relationship with God is the only relationship where truly the slate is clean. Some folks might say, "Oh, I don't care that this happened or this." God is the only being that can love you fresh and not care about anything that's happened in your past. How lit is that? How amazing is that? What a privilege. What a privilege to start fresh, and nothing I've done in the past is holding me back from anything that I will have or do in my future. Don't you get tired of replaying that same situation in your mind over and over again? Don't you get tired of being in situations that are constantly making you question your better judgment? Aren't you tired of that? It gets exhausting. The things that I've had to heal from and release, I've literally felt myself going a little insane at the rate in which I played them back. I had to literally surrender them. And when you choose to link up with God, it's like he almost cuts the chains from your past. He literally will release you from whatever the thing is, whatever backpack, whatever bags you've been carrying around with. When you walk into the kingdom, when you walk into space with God, there's literally a trash can to throw your old stuff away. Don't bring that in there. God won't even let you bring it in there. And when you try to bring it up and disqualify yourself in God's presence, he doesn't allow that. If you even try to speak down on yourself, God doesn't allow that. He'll replace the negative thoughts with positive ones. He'll remind you that you're made in his image. He'll remind you how special and intentionally designed you were. All of that comes with linking up with God. The bondage is behind you. You don't bring it forward into what God is doing and wants to do for you. That's not how it works out. That's not how it works. Again, I always tell y'all, I'm not selling you a dream. Like, walking with God is not easy. I said that earlier in this episode, but it makes everything else easier. Locking in with God does not mean rainbows, butterflies, and sunshine, which are all of my favorite things. However, it makes the daily task easier. You know, it's like you get a new paradigm, a new set of vision on life. Things you used to feel stuck with, they're easier to deal with. You know, they're still there. God is not he's not going to erase your memory. Maybe that's some people's testimony. It's not mine. I still remember. I still remember. But when I remember, I am no longer distraught. When I remember, I'm no longer broken. When I remember, I'm reminded that everything is working out for me. In Matthew 11:30, Jesus says, "My yoke is easy, my burden is light." What he means by that is like when you get with me, it's easy. I lift those heavy things off of you. The load and the energy you're going to get from me is always going to be good. The weight of being attached to him is light. Think about the weight of being attached to so many other things, how heavy that is, how heavy all those things are that you're attached to. The weight attached to walking with God, so light, so easy. It really makes everything better. I swear, y'all, I swear, I promise you, it will change your life. It will change your life. It will change your mind. It will change your heart. That is what God has done. That's what God has done for me. That's my testimony. Mila can only speak about Mila. I can only speak about what I have experienced in my life. And when I tell you the times that God has shown up for me and picked your girl up, brushed the dust and dirt off my shoulders when I had climbed into a hole, he will do the same for you because he loves you. He loves us. He loves us so much. So there's no bondage. There's no bondage. There's nothing that God is holding you to when you walk with him. Neighbors, I want you to think about something you've allowed to hold you in bondage. What is something you've allowed to disqualify you from things? What is that thing that always comes to the front of your mind when you want to go after something or start something or whatever, and you have that thing leaning heavy on you? I want you to visually give that thing to God. Lift it up, let it go, throw it away, write it down, put it in a trash can, burn it with a lighter, do what you got to do. On that piece of paper, or if you're going to do it in your mind or you want to write it down or whatever, God, I give you whatever that thing is. Fill it in. I give you this pain. I give you this experience. I give you this trauma. But you got to let that thing go, because there's no bondage with God. If you've been putting off starting your walk with God, now's the time. Now is the time. I want you to lean in. Lean in. I'm a strong neighbor. I've given you the notes. I've given you the things to do to start. You have the support. You are supported. I want you to lean in. Lean in. Y'all remember trust falls? I felt like they became popular again on social media a few years ago, but like, we trust falling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want y'all to trust fall into God, knowing you're going to be caught. I want you to have that skyscraper faith. Like, I'm jumping off the top of the highest building in the sky, and God's going to catch me. He's going to make sure I'm good. It's going to be a perfect landing. Lean all the way in. Now is the time. There's no bondage. You're in the neighborhood. You're in God's neighborhood. If you want to work on your joy, make it your most prized possession. It's connected to God. If you're not sure where to start, ask a friend. Pull up to your local church. Tap in with a sermon on YouTube. Call somebody you know that loves the Lord. They'll help you. Our job as neighbors in God's kingdom is to welcome everybody in. We're not gatekeeping over here. We're never gatekeeping God. That's loser behavior. That's not what we do. And like any relationship, it'll only feel good when you water it. It'll only feel good when you're communicating. So you got to make sure that you making time for God, that you making time to pray, that you making time to lock in however you can. Take in the Spirit of God in whatever way best fits you when you're starting out. Y'all, when I say this, I mean it from the bottom of my little tender heart. Thank you so much for coming to watch and be a part of the neighborhood this season. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the messages of y'all letting me know that you've seen this and received it. All I have been trying to do with this podcast is tell people what I know about God to be true. That's it. All I've tried to do with this podcast is share what I know to be true about God. That's it. That's it. If in the process someone has decided to give their life to God, hallelujah. If in this process someone has decided to start fresh or seek out a new church, praise the Lord. Is he worthy? He is. So thank you for deciding, you know what, let me go see what Mila's talking about. I know she loved the Lord. I appreciate every single one of you that has shown up every episode to really, really, really take time to see what it's all about being in the neighborhood with God. I appreciate it. You are appreciated. Remember, neighbors, your past is a place you've been, not a place you live. God bless y'all. If you have enjoyed any episode of The Neighborhood, not only do I want you to like this video and subscribe, I also want you to tell a friend and bring a friend to the next time that we have a neighborhood meeting. Be there. Thanks.